Does it ever feel like your own thoughts and feelings are holding you back? I want to tell you about 6 common thinking errors that could be sabotaging your progress. When you're developing your personal brand, you have to have the right mindset. And if your life is being ruled by thinking errors, also known as cognitive distortions, then it's going to be nearly impossible to hit your goals. First, you need to know about the cognitive triangle, which is at the heart of modern psychology. And it states that thoughts create feelings, feelings then create behavior, and behavior reinforces thoughts. Notice it didn't say external events create feelings. That's a key point right there because it's not external events, but how you think about, how you interpret external events that affect feelings and that affect behavior. The good news is that you can use the cognitive triangle to your advantage. And instead of having thoughts that hold you back, use your thoughts to empower you or balance you. So here are 6 very common thinking errors. Number 1, ignoring the good or having a distorted mental filter. Ignoring the good is a thinking error that has you focus on the one thing wrong with the situation and ignore all the things right with it. For example, if you got glowing feedback from a client, but they really didn't like one piece of your work, and you walk away from that taking that I'm a complete failure because of that one thing and ignore all the good things that they said, that is ignoring the good. And the second thinking error is mind reading. Now, mind reading, as the name suggests, is a thinking error where you jump to a conclusion about what someone's thinking without any real evidence. For example, if the person you're sitting beside has an angry look on their face and you think, oh, it must be about me, that's a great example of mind reading. The third thinking error is fortune telling. Fortune telling is another example of jumping to conclusions. It's thinking that you know the outcome of something and it's negative before it's actually happened. A good example would be if you've made a pitch for some business and before you've heard any feedback on your proposal, you're thinking to yourself, oh, there's no way I'm going to get it. There's no way I'm going to win this business. And number 4 is catastrophizing. The thinking error catastrophizing is when you blow up something negative that really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Like, for example, if you make a typo in an important email and you tell yourself, oh, I can't do anything right, and I've really let my team down, that's taking something that's really not going to have any long-term impact and making it really a lot bigger than what it really is. Number 5 is all or nothing or black and white thinking. So all or nothing thinking is when something is either 100% good or 100% bad. Either you delivered the presentation perfectly or it was a complete disaster. There's no middle ground. There's no shades of gray. It's either 100% good or it's all bad. And that brings us to the 6th thinking error. And remember to stick around because we're going to go through what you can do about these errors. But the 6th thinking error is emotional reasoning, and a lot of people fall into this one. It's the concept that if I feel it, it must be true. And the reality is, feelings just aren't facts. It can look like, I feel like a failure, so I must be a failure. I feel like my partner is going to leave me, therefore it must be true. Okay, so now the important part. How do you deal with thinking errors? The first step was to recognize that you were having the thinking errors in the first place. That's crucial. Now you know that they're happening. The next is to look at those thinking errors and reframe them. Find alternative thoughts that are more positive and more realistic. For example, if you feel you're a failure, you can remind yourself that feelings aren't facts. You can think of all the things in your life that have been successful that you can be proud of. And instead of thinking your presentation was a complete disaster, you can say, well, I might have stumbled in a couple places, but no one really seemed to notice. And I kept everyone engaged throughout and I hit all the main points. So it actually ended up pretty good. And when the person beside you seems angry, instead of thinking, well, they must be angry with me, you can say, well, it really looks like they're going through something right now. I hope they're okay. So, reframing and alternative thoughts might seem like a simple thing, but it's a really powerful thing. Because remember, your thoughts affect your feelings, and your feelings affect your behaviors, which influence, again, your thoughts. So, by doing this, you're really giving yourself a powerful tool to change that negative pattern and replace it with a much more positive one. And now, I know it's a lot to ask, but I'm wondering if any of this content is resonating with you. Do you see yourself in any of the thinking errors? And do you have examples? Let me know in the comments if you have examples of where you've experienced this in your life. I really want to create content for you that is helpful as you build and grow your personal brand. And make sure to hit follow if you want more content like this.